Welcome to the DIY Honda Garage channel. The DTC P0404 indicates an EGR, exhaust gas recirculation, valve circuit range/performance problem in a Honda Pilot from the model years 2016 to 2022. This code is generated when the engine control module, ECM, detects that the EGR valve isn't operating within the expected parameters. The EGR system plays a crucial role in reducing emissions by recirculating a portion of the exhaust back into the engine's intake. When the EGR valve is malfunctioning, it may not open or close properly, leading to performance issues or increased emissions. Often, diagnostics for this issue start with confirming the DTC through a specialized Honda Diagnostic System, HDS, which reads parameters and helps pinpoint malfunctions. It is essential to understand the significance of the EGR system in maintaining engine efficiency and environmental compliance, especially in today's automotive landscape. In discussing the error description for DTC P0404, it is critical to understand the components involved and their specific roles. The EGR valve, located in the intake manifold area, manages the flow of exhaust gases back into the engine to reduce nitrogen oxide emissions. When the valve is functioning correctly, it allows exhaust gases to mix with the incoming air-fuel mixture, facilitating better combustion and lowering harmful emissions. The EGR system not only assists in maintaining emission standards, but also enhances fuel efficiency by preventing pre-ignition in the combustion chamber. However, when there is a circuit range or performance problem, the ECM detects it and activates the DTC P0404. The next steps in troubleshooting are vital to isolate whether the issue stems from the valve itself or its associated circuit. When faced with DTC P0404, there are several possible causes that need to be considered. Firstly, a faulty EGR valve is often the primary suspect. If the valve is stuck open or closed, it won't regulate exhaust flow correctly. Another potential issue could arise from the EGR valve position sensor, which monitors the valve's opening and closing and provides feedback to the engine control module, ECM. If this sensor fails, it can cause a misreporting of the valve's position, leading to the DTC being triggered. Additionally, the integrity of the wiring and connectors should be investigated, as damaged or corroded wiring can interrupt signals between the EGR valve and the ECM. Lastly, though less common, malfunctions in the powertrain control module, PCM, might also cause misdiagnosis of the EGR system performance. When the DTC P0404 is triggered, certain symptoms may manifest, indicating underlying issues that need to be addressed. Drivers may notice reduced engine performance due to improper air-fuel mixture resulting from a malfunctioning EGR system. The increased emissions, both in terms of hydrocarbons and nitrogen oxides, are not just a concern for compliance, but could also lead to the vehicle failing emissions testing. Often, diagnostics and symptoms may manifest, indicating underlying issues that need to be addressed. The check engine light will illuminate as a warning signal to the driver, prompting further investigation into the vehicle's health. Additionally, drivers may find that fuel economy suffers, as a non-operational EGR valve can lead to suboptimal combustion conditions. Awareness of these symptoms is essential for prompt attention to the problem and minimizing further damage or more costly repairs. The first troubleshooting step in resolving DTC P0404 involves a confirmed diagnosis using the Honda Diagnostic System, HDS. Begin by turning the vehicle's ignition to the on mode to establish a connection with the vehicle systems. The next step is to clear the existing DTCs using the HDS to prepare for a fresh test cycle. Once cleared, start the engine and hold the RPM steady at 3,000 without load to ensure the engine operates under a consistent condition. This RPM setting continues until the radiator fan activates, signaling that the engine has reached a suitable operating state. After the preliminary warm-up, proceed to perform the EGR test utilizing the HDS. This routine helpfully identifies whether the EGR system is functioning correctly under monitored conditions, guiding subsequent diagnostics. In the second step of troubleshooting DTC P0404, shift the vehicle into the off-lock mode to ensure electrical safety. Next, disconnect the EGR valve's 5P connector, isolating the valve from the circuit for testing. With the connector disconnected, measure the resistance across specific test points. Primarily, test points 1 and 2, located on the EGR valve side, must be assessed. This resistance check is crucial, since a reading of 100 kiloohms or more indicates that there is no short circuit within the internal circuit of the EGR valve position sensor. If the resistance meets or exceeds this threshold, the next logical step is replacing the EGR valve as it is inferred to be malfunctioning. Should the resistance be lower than 100 kiloohms, continue to the next step to check the integrity of the valve's internal circuit directly. Step 3 continues the assessment of the EGR valve's internal circuit by again measuring the resistance, now between a different set of terminals. With the EGR valve still unplugged, focus on test points 1 and 2, specifically measuring at the connector's male terminals. This method provides critical insight into whether the internal circuit of the EGR valve presents any faults. A reading of 100 kiloohms or greater is again indicative of a healthy circuit, suggesting that the EGR valve should be replaced if the previous tests confirmed its malfunction. Conversely, if the resistance is below the specified threshold, it indicates a potential fault exists, allowing further investigation to proceed to the next step. This methodical approach ensures that the technician narrows down the root cause efficiently, without hastily concluding. The fourth troubleshooting step is focused on assessing the continuity of the EGR PG wire, which connects the EGR valve to the system. Begin by measuring the continuity between test points 1 and 2, while keeping the vehicle in off mode, and ensuring that the EGR valve connector is still disconnected. This step is crucial, as it checks for any potential breaks in the wire that may prevent the EGR system from functioning correctly. If continuity is confirmed, the EGR PG wire is operating as it should, allowing you to proceed to the next troubleshooting step. However, if continuity is absent, it signals an open circuit. In this case, repair efforts must focus on rectifying breaks in the EGR PG wire leading up to connection point G101, which serves as a grounding location in the vehicle's wiring system. For the fifth troubleshooting step related to DTC P0404, start by jumping the SCS service check socket line using the Honda Diagnostics system. This action prepares the diagnostic system to monitor wire integrity effectively. After setting up the SCS line, disconnect the PCM connector C, specifically the 51P connector, to minimize any interference during testing. With both connections open, check for continuity between the designated test points using the same off-mode condition. This test looks to confirm if any short circuit exists within the EGR line connecting back to the PCM. If continuity is confirmed, it indicates that there is a short in the EGR wire, which will then require repair efforts before proceeding. If continuity is not present, this suggests the EGR wire remains intact, allowing for further diagnostic steps to be taken. In the sixth step of troubleshooting DTC P0404, the focus shifts again to checking continuity, but this time, the test points involve connections on both the EGR valve connector and the PCM. With the vehicle in off mode and both the EGR valve connector 5P and the PCM connector C51P disconnected, measure continuity between the established test points to ascertain the wire's health status. If continuity exists, congratulations, the EGR wire integrity is intact, allowing technicians to progress to the seventh troubleshooting step. Conversely, if continuity is absent, this diagnosis indicates an open circuit within the EGR wire, necessitating repairs to restore functionality between the PCM and EGR valve. This step ensures that all wiring issues are effectively addressed prior to focusing on the component level, streamlining the overall repair process. In Step 7, attention turns to refreshing the EGR system's functionality by thoroughly cleaning necessary components. Begin by removing the EGR valve from its mounted position, allowing access to the intake manifold EGR port, which can accumulate deposits and carbon buildup over time. Utilizing throttle plate cleaner for this cleaning process effectively dissolves and removes any obstructions, aiding in restoring normal flow through the EGR system. After ensuring both the EGR port and the inner passage of the EGR valve are free from dirt and carbon, reinstall the EGR valve securely in place. Finally, reconnect all dismounted connectors to ensure a seamless operation of the EGR system once reactivated. This step is vital because even after confirming the internal circuitry and connections are intact, carbon buildup can often cause reliability issues, making regular maintenance crucial. Completing the troubleshooting process involves substituting a known good EGR valve, which effectively serves to validate the original valve's functionality. To initiate this step, ensure the vehicle is first brought back to the on mode once the original EGR valve is removed. After substituting with a working EGR valve, reconnect the EGR valve 5P connector to maintain connectivity between the new valve and the ECM. Following the connection, reset the powertrain control module, PCM, which is crucial to clear any existing error codes that were present with the faulty valve. It is beneficial to perform the PCM idle learn procedure next, allowing the engine to recalibrate to the new component settings. Finally, perform the EGR test with HDS once more to determine if the EGR system is now functioning within acceptable parameters. If tests yield positive results, replacing the original EGR valve is confirmed as the solution. After completing troubleshooting and repairs for DTC P0404, it is essential to carry out a final verification to ensure that everything is functioning correctly. Start by thoroughly checking that all connections to the EGR valve and related components are secure and free of corrosion. After verifying hardware integrity, clear any previously stored DTCs using the HDS to reset the system. Once cleared, take the vehicle on a test drive to simulate typical operating conditions. Monitor for any recurrence of the check engine light or related symptoms that originally prompted the diagnosis. Engaging in this verification step ensures the repair has put the system back into a reliable state, thus confirming the effort put into troubleshooting was effective. Preventive maintenance plays a significant role in minimizing future occurrences of DTC P0404 and ensuring the EGR system operates optimally. One of the key strategies is to regularly inspect the EGR system for any signs of wear, corrosion, or misalignment. Clean the EGR valve and its ports periodically, as accumulated carbon can inhibit proper functionality. Employing thorough cleaning at regular intervals can extend the lifespan of the EGR components, enhancing overall engine performance. Additionally, it is beneficial to regularly check the wiring and connector integrity to prevent issues associated with shorts or opens in the circuit. Incorporating these preventive measures can significantly reduce the likelihood of recurrences and maintain the vehicle's emission standards efficiently. In conclusion, addressing DTC P0404 requires a methodical approach to diagnostics and repair. Understanding the role of the EGR valve is paramount, as it directly affects engine performance and emissions compliance. Diagnosing the issue can be complex, requiring a step-by-step investigation of the valve, wiring, and ECM signals to isolate the fault accurately. Each troubleshooting step serves as a building block to ensure that both temporary and permanent fixes are applied effectively. Finally, committing to regular maintenance of the EGR system and its components will not only enhance performance, but will also prevent the recurrence of DTC P0404. By educating vehicle owners on these practices, we contribute to more efficient vehicles and lower emissions for a cleaner environment. Please like and subscribe to the channel. See you next time.